chase after your passion like it's the last bus of the night. You may have heard me say that here on my channel, Horse Business Tips. My name is Jamie Samples, and I want to share with you why I say that. There is a funny story behind it. And if you have ever talked to me or you've known me for any length of time, I love storytelling. This is a fun story that will relate to your business and your passion to just give you a good, healthy reminder of why you do what you do, and also hopefully give you a laugh today. Many, many moons ago, I wasn't even doing Yellow Barn Media yet. I wasn't even doing social media yet. I was in another business, and a friend of mine said to me, "Hey, Jamie, we are going to go to Chicago to a conference, and they would like you to speak on your experience with the company." And at that time, I was like, I am broke. I don't have enough money. I cannot travel to Chicago. But we worked through some things. We came up with some creative ideas. And as an entrepreneur that's like trying to shoestring everything, I came up with a plan that I thought would work pretty well. Long story short, I'm going to Chicago. I had only been to Chicago one other time in my life, probably 10 years old, probably went with my parents. You can see this mic is not doing its job. So I don't know what's happening. So I'd probably only been to Chicago maybe one other time, and I think I was 10 years old. But the one thing I knew about Chicago is if I was going to travel there, I wasn't going to be able to take any of my, let's just say, self-protection tools. So I thought, okay, I have to be really smart when I travel. I knew I couldn't fly. I didn't want to drive. I just knew I didn't have a ton of money. So I thought, okay, I can go. There's a train that runs from Michigan to Chicago, and it's very inexpensive. I got ready, packed my bags, made all the plans. If you're a type A personality like myself, you need to know the plan, right? Like, okay, I get on the train in Ann Arbor and here in Michigan, and I get to Chicago, but then what comes next? How do I get to the hotel? Now, this is years and years and years ago. I don't even know if there was Uber or Lyft. I just know that there were taxis. But one of the reasons why I didn't drive or fly is because I didn't have a lot of money. I'm not even sure if I had a business credit card at the time. I can't take a taxi when I get there to the hotel because that's going to be very expensive. Called ahead. My friend, by the way, was like, you can stay with me in the hotel room. So, I didn't have to pay her for that. So it was just going to be this shoestring trip. And I was so excited to go. And I was like, I'm going to just go and talk about this thing I'm so passionate about. And I'm so honored to be able to share. I called ahead. The hotel told me, yep, at the train station, no problem. We will have a shuttle that will bring you to the hotel. So I was like, I've got this in the bag. This is totally going to be easy. Hop on the train, get to the train station in Chicago. Don't have to worry about what time it is. They'll have a shuttle that will come get me. That is not what happened. The story is pretty hilarious. I hadn't been to a conference like this, so I didn't know what to wear, what types of clothes. Of course I asked, but I was like, I got to take some extra stuff. But I'm also traveling on a train and I'm pretty low maintenance. But I need to take enough stuff to make sure that I look presentable and I fit in. I pack everything. I end up with more baggage than I care to share. Fast forward, I get to Chicago. I get to the train terminal. I get off. There's no shuttle. There's nothing. Now, keep in mind, the other thing that I didn't mention is I traveled and didn't get into Chicago until I believe it was about midnight. So it was late. I've watched enough Law and Order to know I'm not walking out and having the steam come up out of the manholes and people lurking in the dark. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. So I call the hotel and they're like, oh, no. When you get to the train station, you have to then go down into the subway, take the subway to XYZ stop, and that's where the shuttle will get you. And I was like, okay, but they're like, let us remind you that the shuttle only runs through whatever time it was. I feel like it was like 1:30 or 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. or something. First of all, I got to take all these bags. I got to get on the subway myself, which I'd never done it as an adult. Now, keep in mind, I'm a pretty independent person, but it's it's middle of the night in Chicago. I have no self-defense tools, if you will. And I'm kind of young and I got all these bags. But I also know that the shuttle leaves at a certain time. So I am watching my watch at the time. I'm sure I had a cell phone, but it was probably like a flip phone at the time. So I'm sitting on the subway and I'm watching the map and I'm watching the stops and I'm watching the timing. And I'm just getting super nervous because I'm like, the shuttle's going to leave. And then my whole plan for saving money is going to be totally done because I'm going to have to now get a taxi. I'm starting to have a little bit of anxiety, like, oh, this is not going my way at all. I get to the stop. Now, keep in mind, I have all these bags, okay? And I didn't wear like super sensible shoes. I was like, I want to look nice. I was traveling, so I was like, I don't even know what I had on. All I know is here's what I can tell you. I knew I had to get to that shuttle bus. I knew it. I knew I had to get there by a certain time or they were going to leave me and it was going to thwart my entire plan. When I stopped on the last subway station, that it was about 5 minutes past when that shuttle was going to leave. But I looked out the window and I saw what I thought to be the shuttle. So I didn't want to be rude, but I grabbed my bags and I got off without knocking anyone over or anything. And I started running like my tail was on fire to get to that bus. Fast forward again to the next morning, I ended up at the conference speaking in front of everyone with a black eye and a half, luckily not broken nose. When I took off on that platform and I started running with all of my multiple bags, one of the straps caught my shoe and I literally fell just flat on my face on that cement. I fell so hard, it looked like I got beat up in Chicago. But I got to the bus on time. When I got there, the bus driver said, well, oh my gosh, I saw what happened. Are you okay? He's like, why are you running? And I'm like, because they told me the bus left like 5 minutes ago and I knew I had to get here. And he's like, no, I would have stayed here forever to wait. I knew you were coming. So then, of course, I was pretty mad at the hotel. The moral of this whole story is this. I ran to that bus because I was like, I have to get there. I have to get to my end destination and I cannot miss the bus. Early on, one of my domains that I bought was chasethatbus.com. And probably at some point, if I write a book, it's probably going to be called Chase That Bus. I have so many analogies in my life that have been almost a parallel to that picture because I am super passionate and I'm sure you are passionate about what you're doing as well. And sometimes we forget because we get in the mundane of all the things in our business, right? That we have to like chase after that passion like it is the last bus of the night. Like it's the last option we have. I was beat up in Chicago, but I wasn't. My train ride home was not eventful at all, which I was incredibly grateful for. The conference was wonderful. It opened doors for me and I was able to really succeed in that business that I was working and working in at the time. I like to give that little story. It's kind of a long one, but also I think it's kind of a hilarious one. And I always look back and think to myself that if I can do everything every day that I get up and chase after my passion like it's the last bus of the night, whatever that is, whether I'm working on work, whether I'm being a mom, a wife, volunteering at my church, working within the community, can I take that passion and just chase after it like it's the last bus of the night? So I hope this encouraged you today. And I would love to hear if you have any awesome stories like this or what you think about in your business that helps remind you to look at the passion that you have for your business, for your life, and just continually be reminded of that in your own business. I hope you have an awesome day and don't forget to chase after your passion like it's the last bus of the night.